Welcome to Detroit's Darkest Times. This is your man Slick from Detroit City. Today we're going to discuss a little bit about the city, a little bit about what's going on with Detroit's Darkest Times on YouTube, and things of that nature. Before we get started, let's subscribe, hit the like, and the notification bell. If you'd like to support the channel, the Cash App, money sign FC313. The PayPal is DDT313. If you'd like to support in that way, do so. If you're not able to support in that way, be a supporter by subscribing to the channel, hitting the like and the notification bell. So let's get into it. Lately, things that's been going on with Detroit's Darkest Times is the movie's in progress. Those of you that's been staying with this channel knows about the movie. And this movie is my movie. It's the Slick story from Detroit City. And it's been working on as we speak. It's making good progress. So everybody's going to want to check this out. It's really something to see, something to hear, and it's going to inspire a lot of people. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. So we had told y'all in the past that it'd be out by the summer, but it's possibly going to come out a little sooner than that. But it depends on how the progress goes. But so far, everything's going good. And it's going to be an interesting movie. So also, we also put in on Theo Bond. We put in during his interview. We put in a request to be opponent against Jake Paul. Whether he takes that request or not, we don't know, but we did put it in. So we just wanted our audience to know about that. And also, we got things developing in Detroit City. 16 hours ago, the Renaissance has changed their logo. General Motors took their logo off and they replaced it with the Marriott logo. And General Motors just basically, moved to the Hudson building down the road. People in the city is probably aware of that. Probably not everybody, because everybody don't stay up on what's going on in the city. But yeah, that's took place. They're creating transportation for K through 12 in Detroit City. And you can check into that if you want, Google it, whatever. And to get more information, we're just hitting on, certain topics and stuff like that. Just to let y'all know what's up in the city. Also, the demolition it will be taking place 2027 after the big event they're going to have there. And let's see, they're going to take down the two towers, which is 300 and 400 tower, demolish them to make a park at the Riverwalk. And later on, this, have events take place there and all that. So it's going to be a lot goodness for the city and the people who come to the city to enjoy the river walk and the park that they're going to have there, things of that nature. Also, the giveaway is coming up also. So we're going to, on our next segment, we're going to give y'all information how to, you know, get involved in the giveaway, things like that. So, stay with us and stay up on the game where you can possibly win something. So, that being said, we're just going to go into some more topics in the city. Of Detroit's story in the past with your man Slick. We're going to get into Livernois, and some things on Livernois that took place. Which is a lot of changes over the years. The city does not look like it used to look back in the day. It's really changed, and it's something to see, and it's also amazing when if you go away for a period of time and then come back to the city and just check out all the stuff around the places that you've been. You'll be amazed at how it transitioned. It's almost like it's a different place, but it's the same city. You know what I'm saying? And it's got a lot of history in Detroit, a lot of my history, and things of that nature. But all in all, Detroit is growing, and they also are trying to accumulate more people to move to the city. And they have a lot to offer now compared to what they had back in the day. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was just a variety of things you can do and a limited things you can do. But today's time, it's just unlimited things you can do. So if you haven't been to Detroit, plan to take a trip there and do your research on the city before you plan your trip. and that way you would have a plan of what all places you want to go see or go check out. And the city has just really uh, made a lot of progress on uplifting the city, making things look good. The mayor of Detroit, Mary Sheffield, she is the bomb. She is the woman. She is the leader of Detroit City. And we appreciate everything she's done for the city and what she's going to do for the city. And all the people in the city probably feel the same way I do. We just appreciate Mary Sheffield being the mayor, and we just appreciate her concerns of the city and wanting to do good things to turn the city around. And also, she's uh, doing things to help people, buy homes and things of that nature, which is great. And things like that. But now they had in the past, and I'm talking many years back, they did have a thing where, you know, uh, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people was on government assistance back in the day. And then they had this thing where, when people's on government assistance, the government gives people money, for rent, for food, for lights, for gas, all that stuff, right? And this is, I'm talking a long time ago. And what they started doing back then is they would buy houses from the landlords. And the reason they were doing that, I don't know how this ended up, how this came out at the end, but this is just, word of mouth years back that that was being said. But what they were doing, because instead of paying people's rent all the time and stuff like that, they just rather bought the house from the landlord. So then it's basically a government home at that point, which means they pay the landlord one fee, then they own it. So somebody that's on assistance or something like that, the government ain't gonna have to just constantly keep paying rent and keep paying rent, because at that point you're paying over a number of years, you're paying way more than what the house is worth. So that was a pretty good move back then on their part. And I ain't really looked into Mary Sheffield's situation on how she's doing it as far as giving people opportunity to buy homes. But I think it's a totally different uh, setup from what I'm talking about from a long time ago. But that was just some things they did. Then also they used to do basically for the homeless people. This is years back. What they would do if there was a homeless person, uh, they would they announced this on the news. Matter of fact, back in the day, and but if you was homeless and you didn't have a residence, what they were doing is telling the homeless people to provide an address. It could be an abandoned house that's a condemned house or whatever, but it has to have an address, right? And what they would do is say, get you an address, and then you can come down to the food stamp office. Come down to the food stamp office, and you're able with that address that you got a hold of because you're homeless. And most people would just get an address off a abandoned house or abandoned building or whatever, and they would take that address down to the food stamp office. And this is many years back. And they would do that, and they would provide them with some food stamps. So they had food assistance. You know what I mean? So that was really good for homeless people that didn't have an address. That's something they did back in the day. And but the thing is, in every city they really need to work on the homeless situation. And I really feel like they just need to have it to a point where you have to accept help to get off the street. You can't just live on the street, you know. And some people, in different areas, they prefer to stay on the street, but that's when it falls on the governors and stuff like that. They need to push it where we got programs, and we're going to get you some help, and you're going to get off the street, and you can't refuse that kind of help, because all they got to do is just let them know that they're going to clean up the homeless situation, and there's not going to be any more homeless people in any city. And that's what they need to focus on. I know they're busy and they do a lot of different things, but it's really important to get this homeless thing cleaned up and get these people off the streets and get them in places, where they can live and be out of the rain, out of the cold, things of that nature. So that right there is for every leader of every city, whether you're a mayor or a governor. From Detroit's darkest times, we would like you all to focus on cleaning up the homeless situation in every city and fixing some things. I know you got a lot of programs out there, but homelessness has been around for as long as I can remember. So you know, that's saying a lot right there. You know what I mean? So, and I do know in some spots they do have where it's illegal to be homeless. So when they do that, usually the homeless people just move away from that area because they can't be homeless in that city. You know what I mean? So that being said, just try to work on doing something like that where we can get all the homeless people off the street and into housing and things of that nature, and whatever program you need to come up with that actually tackle this kind of stuff and really make a difference, and get the homeless people, medical help that they need, dental help they need, and hygiene that they need and stuff like that. Uh, Hygiene products that they could use and stuff like that is, real important. And then clothing and stuff like that. And a lot of things they need to do is just, interview a lot of these homeless people just to see what their story is, why they ended up homeless, and it'd be good data for the government basically to find out the core of the situation, you know. So that being said, just here at Detroit's darkest times, my name's Slick, and I always think of the next person. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important to work on this homeless situation and get a grip on it, and it just makes a difference. It really makes a difference. Whether y'all want to do a homeless situation in a certain area of the city or whatever, then I'm sure that's what y'all would probably come up with. But just long as they get the help they need, and because if you're homeless, I really don't think they care where at in the city that you're going to put them, to be honest with you. So, but they just need to be vetted, as far as like if they need medical attention and stuff like that, and dental attention, and just things of that nature. Some people can, if you'll give them enough help, you know, and somebody that needs help, you can't just give them like $5 and think they're going to be good after that. It just ain't going to work like that. You really got to really help them. And then once you really help them, you could tell them, right off top, this is how we're helping you. This is what we're going to do for you. And after this, there's no more help for you. You gotta make it on your own. And then those that's not able to, make it on their own, then they need some extra assistance to keep them going and things of that nature. Because you really just can't judge a book by its cover. Everybody has different issues. Everybody has you know problems in their life. Some people share them, some people don't share them, things of that nature. But it's always important to think about the next person, because we're all here as one, and we're all going to leave as one. You see what I'm saying? So that being said, just try to do what you can do for people, and you know whether it be a stranger or somebody in your family or something like that, just really try to make a difference. And it'll make you feel good to help out, whether you're, buying somebody a cup of coffee or just, getting them something through a drive through and hand it to them, to a homeless person or something like that. It's just, and then sometimes, people don't want to do no hands on kind of deal. And if that's the case, you can pay for somebody's stuff and just and then let the people know, hey, I'm gonna send somebody in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pay for their stuff, and I'm gonna send them in here where they can get something to eat or something like that. There's ways to do it where you ain't really got to do hands on, if that's what you desire to do. But we just push helping people all the time because we know how important it is to help one another and just make make our city a great place to be. You know what I mean? And just think, if everybody helped everybody, everybody would be in good shape. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like you have a ton of people doing so well that they just got too much stuff that they're never going to use. And then you got people that's worried about where their next meal's coming from. You know what I mean? So, it's sad to think about it, but that's the way it is. But, and also, I just want to throw something out there for the people, the wealthy people. I would say this because I don't want to say the people doing good, because the people doing good, a lot of them people, it looks like they're doing really well and it looks like they got a lot of money, but they don't. You know what I'm talking about? Them kind of people. It's the people that kind of like live off credit cards and stuff. And then when that runs out, then they're just, you know, they don't know, what to do. They have to make a plan and stuff. So, that's what I say about don't judge a book by its cover. Because you could look at somebody and they could be dressed very nice, maybe have a nice car or something like that. And don't assume that they got money. Because most of them people is like the middle class. You can call it the middle class. Most of them people look like they got money and they do have nice stuff, but they really ain't got much money. You know what I mean? So I'm just talking about the wealthy ones that just got a ton of money and a ton of resources and stuff like that. There's a few cats out there that really help people. You know what I mean? They just go find random people that needs help, and they help them. You know what I mean? And yes, they do put it on video, but there ain't nothing wrong with that. If you showing people that you really doing some stuff, that's straight in my book. You know what I mean? And whether you make a few dollars off of views or whatever, that doesn't matter. The people that's helping certain people out is really doing good deeds. Like, I mean, I'm talking about helping people with cars, helping people with houses, helping people with money. And there's you know people out there like Greatness. He's out there doing good deeds for people, and there's a whole bunch of people doing that. But he's did as far as I've seen, he's did the most, and things like that. So it's really just makes a difference if you got a lot and you and your family's good. Then please help out somebody that doesn't have very much. That's all we're saying. You know. So that being said, we're gonna cut this off, and we'll be back. And next time we come back, we're gonna give y'all information how to get involved with the giveaway and stuff like that. And later we'll be putting our merch on, and then you can purchase things like that. So be ready, stay with us, grow with us, be a supporter, help somebody in need, and treat people the way you want to be treated. And this is Detroit's Darkest Times. This is Slick. We out.